As the old saying goes, every cloud has a silver lining. Well, the last 2 years have certainly had a lot of clouds, so let's take a look briefly at what some of the silver linings have been. Now, the reason I say this is I quite often hear people say, boy, I just like to go back to normal. I just wish we could go back to the way things were. Well, do we really want to go back to the way things were? Let's think about it. We had Canadians who were really not engaged in their political process at all. They knew very little of what their politicians thought of them or what they were busily doing in Ottawa. Canadians had no clue who this Davos crowd was, who this World Economic Forum was, and what their Great Reset agenda was for them. Canadians had little knowledge to what was being taught in schools, how their children were basically being politicized and basically turned into revolutionaries in school and being turned against parents. Again, like I said, little clue. Canadians had little understanding of the disdain that the elites had for them and what they thought of them ultimately. And they had little understanding of how these elitists, how these elected officials, public health officials, view democracy and the rights of individual freedoms. Again, we were pretty much all clueless. Prior to the pandemic, we lived by the old adage in Canada that there are two things you never discuss in mixed company. That's politics and religion. And I'll tell you what, we were successful in not discussing those. So we were on a slow demise. However, the last 2 years have really sped things up. They have brought to the surface the ideology of those who would wish to be our masters and rulers and the vision they have for us as Canadians in their world. And most of us, the ones who are now paying attention, are saying, hell no, that's not the direction I want to go. So what do I think the next steps are? Well, I would rather not be looking at the past of what once was, but I would rather take the good things that were once prevalent and couple those with what we've learned now and look to building a better forward, a better future. And the only way that's going to happen is when Canadians are more engaged in what's happening in their electoral system. Not only that, but more importantly, Canadian parents now need to be engaged in what's happening at the school level, what their kids are being taught in school. It's fundamentally important. And again, like I said, prior to all of this, sure, there were some parents paying attention, but a lot of parents were asleep at the wheel. So this has been a really wonderful opportunity for us to come to realize that while you hear that old expression, it takes a village to raise a child, I don't know, because I don't necessarily want the kind of crazy village that's out there raising my children. I would rather be the one who has control over what my kids are learning and basically have control and autonomy over what I put into my body. We have now realized that that is something that these folks that are these technocrats, these autocrats, bureaucrats, whatever you want to call them, have little respect for that in their citizenry. So, great opportunity. We've learned a lot over the past 2 years. We've got a wonderful chance to reimagine and reinvent a future going forward. But that's going to mean that we all have to stay in this fight. This is far from being over. While we know in a lot of provinces the Vax Pass may have ended, the mandates have ended, still the flight mandates are still in place. And government and these elected public health officials at the snap of a finger are always ready to reinstate them and re-implement them. So we cannot be asleep. We have to be paying attention and continue to press forward and demand our rights and our freedoms and understand what these are and what they mean to us and convey that to our elected officials. Once again, thank you for watching. Oh, that's another thing. If this pandemic had not hit, I wouldn't be recording videos and coming to you and getting to read your comments and share what's going on in your lives and be able to unpack what I see the world doing at the same time. So a great appreciation for that. Thanks for watching. As always, you can follow me on my Rumble and my Locals account. Any comments you have, I would welcome those comments down below. Please post them, and I look forward to seeing you next time.